Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We review anything and everything. And today we're getting into another Lego Ninjago set. This is from the Dragon Rising theme. This is set 71831, the Ninja Spinjitzu Temple with 158 pieces, and it's a 4+ set. Now mind you, whenever you have a 4+ set and some of the parts are larger, you can't go off that 158 piece count as if it's a small count, because some of these pieces literally would represent almost 20 pieces or more in one. Like this whole entire framing thing is one piece, and it's huge. And I actually just noticed too, I didn't notice this before, there are door hinges on it. That's actually pretty cool. I say that because that could be something that you can customize. One thing I'm going to get into with this set is I think it gives a lot of room for customization. Now, link's going to be in the description down below for this set for you to purchase on Amazon. It is a little pricey when it's at its base price, which I think is either $40 or $45. It was on sale at one point at $32, but then it went back up to $37, unfortunately. And I had to get it at that price because it was for my kids for Christmas, and it was, you know, all the other places had it for even higher price. So that sale was missed. And unfortunately, because at the time didn't know I was going to end up buying it. I feel that this set is an important set, and I'm going to tell you why. It's 4+, so a lot of people might think, might not think to say like, okay, I really want, that set, whatever the case is. But as far as within the new theme, as far as a more updated of the updated sets of Dragon Rising, not like the past sets from, way before when Ninjago first came out. This is the only and current Ninjago or Spinjitzu temple, or any of their home, if whatever you want to call it. This is the only form of their temple home that you can buy right now that is still available and currently being made. So it's not some astronomical price for what you're paying for, regardless of whether you think the value of it is not. It's not an inflated price of the base price just because it's no longer being made. And I actually like a lot of things that this set comes with. I think that if you get this set at about $35 or less, it's still a pretty decent deal. If you can get it for $30, if it's on sale, it reaches $30, I would say definitely jump on this set, because if you're a fan of Ninjago, this is going to be your temple for, like, if your kids love it or if you love it, this is going to be your temple. This is going to be their home base. And even though within the series, they're not at, their home base a lot, but they still go there from time to time. And though it's in the cartoon, it might seem a lot more elaborate, at least you have something to represent that. I'm sorry for the ramble, but I just really wanted to point that out there, and we'll get into the set and all the things I really like about the set. First, taking a look at the back. And this set has 4 instruction booklets, so if you wanted to build it with your kids at the same time, you can. And it breaks into 4 parts. It's not made to break into those parts, but it can, like, in a sense, like they don't connect with Technic pieces that you connect them like that, but they just, one plate holds them together. So here you can see all the stuff that comes with it. And I think you get a lot of goodies with this set, which give it its value. One, you're getting 4 minifigures, mini dragon, and 2 little animals, a bird and a frog. You're getting a lot of little accessories, swords, bow staff sticks, the trophy, the hammer for the blacksmith area, the gong piece, which is to go to that. A little piece of mail is like a little hidden Easter egg, a little tea set area, and obviously your temple dojo. Now, as far as breaking down the set goes, I'm going to pull all the figures off, and then this time we're going to actually go over the figures first, where in some of the videos I will go over the figures secondly. And some of the extras, I throw them in there. So if you see things like extra cups that are not normally on it, or an extra flower piece, I just sometimes throw extras there, just so, why have them sitting around away from everything when you can have them there. So one, I want to start by saying this gives you 4 major ninjas, and I think that in itself is cool. Yes, they aren't all the exact same style, but nonetheless you're getting 4 ninjas, and I think that part, like I said, is really cool. The only other core member is I don't know if he's, what's his about, I don't know if he's electricity. It's Nia's brother. So this comes with baby Ryu, Zane, Nia, Lloyd, and Kai. Now, I'm sorry, Zane, yes, and Kai. And so I'm looking at the box, but the box has them in a different order than the way I have them here. So let me bring this down a little bit. I'm sorry, you guys. So you're getting the main group of major ninjas that are for other than the Earth one. Everyone else, like in that beginning phase, they're not even really like there yet or whatever the case is. So you're getting that, you know, if they would have thrown in all the rest of them, yes, that would have been a little bit icing on the cake to be like, I have all the main ninjas, but at certain parts of the story, they're not all together. So that's probably why they did it. But jumping into, matter of fact, what I'm going to do is just rearrange them in the order they have on the box. So that way it's easier for me when I'm doing this. So taking a look at Nia, I'm sorry. And you can see her outfit and she's got her symbol right there. The way they blend it in is very seamless and somebody wouldn't even know that that's their symbol. She has two faces, angry face and a smiley face with her headband and her hair, which is cool. Here you have Kai with his armor as well, his symbol right there. It's got like the ninja mask and the regular face underneath this kind of ninja mask, which I think this ninja mask is really cool. You have Lloyd as well. Armor, symbol for his abilities, the back printing, ninja mask, as well as regular with his glowing green eyes-ish, because his eyes always look like that. And then you have Zane here, his symbol right there. Basic stuff, Android head, details on the back as well. Now, they could have made it where they all had those ninja faces, but I think it's kind of fine that they didn't, because depending on the zone that they're in and the things they're doing, like it kind of might fit differently. You got the 3 bow staffs here, and the bow staffs actually could be used for the little battle set area. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna push all these guys aside, and I am going to zoom into this so we can get into these details a little more. So these are the sections here, and where you see the, let me see if I can break this up like this. These are how they're built. So the same way, I'm gonna see if I can break it apart. Hopefully they're not attached in any other part of it, so it breaks apart easy. I just wanna show you guys how it breaks apart. So these are the 4 parts like that, the sections, and they get built up like that. You have the booklets for each 4-1, and so they're all a section of the dojo, which I think is cool because it does give the dojo, even though it's small, it gives it this depth in terms of different sections of different things that are going on in it. And I'm just going to connect them all back again and take a quick spin on the other side, and then we're going to go into every single aspect of the dojo, which once again, like I said, I think is actually really cool. Now, in my mind, one thing that you could do is they made the printing part of these face that way, the inner part, but I would say that if you wanted to, I would spin this whole thing around to face this way as the outer part, because I think like having less detail for the inner part makes more sense in the outer part. But when it's display, you want to see all the things to be displayed in the front. But I think that a person could do that, spin this around to face that way, the top face that way, because this looks like the way the structure is, like this would be the front, but all these look like they would be the interior. So I just want to throw that out there. Aside from that, you have these little pieces here, which is supposed to kind of represent you know, blocking off the trophy, and then people who are practicing, then they get to, you know, have access to the trophy. I will put 2 guys here with these bow staffs just to kind of simulate how this works with the ability to like, fight. It's a nice little play feature. It's not a big deal, but I think it goes a long way. Just in terms, like I said before, having sections of this place that kind of really break down to become, you know, what it is. So you can go like that, and if you push really hard, one of them can knock off. And so you have that. So that's the battle area right here. Obviously, that's the center area of the trophy. You have that on top with the gong back there that you can hit. I'm a fan of the way the roofing is with this. I think it looks nice. Sorry, I'm just gonna remain zoomed in. I don't mean for you guys not to be able to see everything, but I wanna be able to for you guys to get the close details. Now here, you have the table, which you could put this on there. I just put it on the seat because there's no studs on the table. But the tea set here, this can be a little bench set. So you can have someone sit here and then sit here. And then these are small seats there facing. So that's the little tea area where Nia would normally be. And they've got a little piece of like water right there, which I think looks nice with the frog and the little lily pad type of leaves coming from the tree and the little tree over there. So I think that whole setup just looks really nice. It encompasses this whole aspect of the temple. And obviously, like I said, this is the training area that you would have in the center. And then over here, you have the blacksmith area, which is also nice because you could take one of these swords here. Now I have it facing that way, but this is supposed to face this way, but I just think it looks better facing outwards. But you could have it where it's facing inwards. You put one of those swords there, and obviously Kai is a blacksmith. And well, Kai and I think Nia both are blacksmiths, because my understanding, I don't know the full lore from previously, but they recently released a old blacksmith set that's like about $100. That's brand new for the year 2026 January release. And I'm guessing back then they were blacksmiths. So this kind of gives those elements of catering back to what they were with the blacksmith element, which is actually pretty cool. So he's got that, the anvil there and the hammer. And this would be the weapon rack from the weapons that he's making. Now, like I said, generally that's the way it normally would be on here. And then in addition, you got the little hidden letter down there. I don't know what that Easter egg represents, but it's cool. And here goes another bench, so someone could sit on there on that bench. So that's cool. And overall, like I said, I actually really like this set because, one, you're not going to be able to have a Ninjago temple base structure in this series for the good guys. This is the only one. And yes, it's a 4+ set, but it's the only one. In addition, I think this set brings to the table a lot of customization. If you wanted to add a couple of pieces, you have some just generic bricks, I think you could do a lot with this. So for example, you could, if you had a bunch of generic bricks, nothing fancy, I would turn both of all these structures to face that way, like I said before, so that way they're facing the outside. And then the inside, yes, will have less detail on the back of those, but this is the inside. I would then take, like I said, regular brick structures. I would build a wall coming up here. If you don't want to add more plates, you could add more plates and expand it. But if you didn't want to do that, I would add bricks that could come up here, some that come straight up here. I leave this kind of little open so someone could still sit inside it a little bit with the bench. But I bring some bricks up here, have almost like another opening similar to that window, but right here, circling around this, so that way people can still sit on the bench. Whole wall coming like this. The wall will stop. Maybe bring some wall pieces out to come around this, and then it will just enclose it into its own structure. If you wanted to get a couple extra plates and start building outwards with more plates, you could put plates right here and then connect those plates to this set and then build outwards. So we want to build extra rooms or things like that. I just think with just a little bit of extra, you can turn this thing into a huge setup. Or if you wanted to go and grab a base, if you had a base, matter of fact, I'm going to grab a base right now just to show this. So this right here is one of my Strictly Bricks base plates. And I've done a review on these before, and I like them because they're actually the same height as a regular Lego plate. Okay, just want to change up the angle a little bit. Now, this kind of gives you a sense that if you just want to drop this right on top of like a plate. Now, granted, you have to kind of work this out because these come out a little longer than that. But you could then just build up a whole thing attached to this, So, for example, This piece here, you could drop this, the little water part, attach it to the base plate here. Like I said, this is a little different because strictly bricks base plates are plate high, so it works a little more seamless. But you could take that piece off there on the edge. You could take this piece off on the edge, attach them to the actual, base or whatever case is, or however you want to do it. Maybe you just need an extra plate to bring that down more in terms of its height. So if I drop this here, you would just need add an extra plate so that will level off, it'll be attached to that. You do the same on this side here. And then you have the free range. Like I said, if those walls were now facing outwards, they're facing backwards, and that's the outside. You could build up walls right here. You could just get some tan bricks to represent like the structure. Doesn't have to be nothing fancy, and build it all the way up to it's like, a good 5 bricks high. And you would have now like this whole thing, like the inner garden area with the walls, and this is where they live. You could have like the beds and all that. You could just do a whole thing here, and it's simple. It doesn't require a lot. It won't require a lot of bricks and all that kind of stuff. It would be really nice. Matter of fact, I may do that for my kids as well, because I know that they love this whole setup. Obviously, you get the base plate that works for you. If you want to do gray or you want to do sand, you could do that, whatever the case is, because in the show, it looks like the center area of the dojo, of the temple, is mostly like sand with like wood panels covering like, the walkways. But however you want to do it, I just think it's simple to expand on this. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take a lot, and you could really do it. And I think it's really nice that, a person could and would be able to do that. So, and like I said, I may end up doing that myself, where I do this. Let me just connect this piece back right here really quick. But where I do something like that, and this is now facing, like I said, the outwards way, build some walls here, just make this whole thing, and it could be this really nice thing. So, and it's very simple. So like I said, I really like it for the ability to be expanded on. I think it's something, I think it's something that is worth for you guys to consider, just even for that. Because like I said before, if you're late to Ninjago and you want a temple, you can't buy another temple. This is the only temple. Everything else is an older set that's going to probably cost you an arm and a leg because it's no longer being made anymore. So as always, you guys, like, share, comment, subscribe. Put your comments down below. I definitely want to hear what you guys say. If you guys have the set, have you expanded on it? What have you done? Are you interested in this? Are you interested in a temple? Do you like Ninjago, but you don't have a home-based operations that you want to have? Let me know your thoughts down below, you guys. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.